I wanted to do this video today after a comment. Somebody rebuked me because I was so evil. And then the person that said, oh, they rebuke the evil in me is like, well, I rebuke you, the evil that's in you. And then after I said that, um, this another person ended up commenting on that, ooh, I just did something really bad against God that what was the word? I made a mockery out of God. So because I believe in God and I rebuke evil, I'm making a mockery out of God. So what makes it right when somebody else does it? How does a book make it right when somebody else does the same thing? Like, how come it's not a mockery then? And this person, although, because actually, how it all started was just doing a little browsing and ran across Hem Kemner's wife had a channel by some odd chance, just happened to run into it under a search I was doing. It came up and it had nothing to do with what the search is. So they're clearly using tags that are unrelated just to get the views. But anyways, the poor girl, and remember him, Kemner, who think he's a great guy. He really has a lot of concern for humanity, and I don't believe I've said anything negative about him, although some of his beliefs are way off from my beliefs, anyways. It just, some of the things he's saying is not making all that much sense to me. It just does not add up. And the interesting thing is that we're all looking for truth, but yet we're not looking for information to find that truth. It's like we're blocked from finding any of the information. Anyways, I thought I posted a kind video about him, and um, then he blocked me. And the guy's right into religion and just got baptized, and then all of a sudden he's starting to see evil everywhere. It's like as soon as you go into a church, that's when you start getting involved with evil. It just seems like the whole thing is focused on, I'm better than everybody else and everybody else is evil because I have a book. And don't get me wrong, the book has 99%, I agree 100% with the Bible. It's the 1% that's bullshit, that's evil, that's harmful, that's causing all of the problems on the planet, is religion. And it's the same thing with every religious book. And you got to use a little common sense. Do you really think that something that created us said, here's a book, here's your instructions on how to be a human? I don't think so. I don't think that in the caveman days, when God first created man, he didn't give us a handbook. Like, a book is the material world. That's us. We make the material world, not God. This is not of God. And that's why it's inspired. And it's like, okay, who inspired? Oh, you know what? Was probably the guy with the most money. Probably was, like, who wrote the book? Whose inspiration says, oh, that came from God? I mean, really, truthfully, like, I have inspiration from God. Nobody's listening to me, like, so that technically would mean nobody wants to listen to God. I mean, it's only going to be way back when people could be inspired by God. But after the first few that got inspired by God to write a book, then nobody else can have any contact with God. All contact with God ended, and the only way you can get to God is through a book. It just does not make any sense. And you have to look at who owns the books. It's the corporate world. But anyways, then it was really, really funny because I guess she popped into my channel and seen that the first video is on NLP programming and says, oh, I'm not, you're into that new age evil stuff. And it's like, how the hell is that evil? Like, you see evil as soon as you go into a church, as soon as you go into a building, you are being brainwashed using NLP programming. These priests, any minister that goes in there studies NLP programming. I mean, and here's how you can tell. When you go into a church, they give you a sermon. And what's that sermon all about? It's to make you feel a certain way. The stories that they're going to tell, they want you to relate to it. They want you to feel something. And then as soon as you can feel something, then watch the suggestions that they attach to that feeling. And it works. It is. Go check out some videos. I've got one posted on NLP programming. And you can see how much you can manipulate somebody into wanting something they didn't really want. And you don't even know it. And even after you're told, it's like, no, I really, really want that. No, you didn't try to con me. No, you didn't do it. I really want that. And you'd have to watch my video on NLP programming. And it's not mine. It was mirrored. Stolen. But it was a good example of what NLP programming is. And whether to study something like that is just to know what people are doing. It's just to know the mindset that's being used to manipulate humanity. Once you know what it is, then you can't be manipulated anymore. And you find truth out. You still are able to receive information. You could talk to God. You find a whole new way of living through God when you throw away that Bible. And so anybody that's against, anybody that's religious, that's against New Age, who thinks NLP programming is New Age and you hate it and it's evil, well, you're just admitting that your own church is evil because they use NLP programming on you every single time you walk into that building. I've even seen some churches tell you to take notes because that's even more, it brainwashes you even more. You don't even know what's being done to you. So anybody that wants to say, hey, I rebuke you, it's like, you really need the evil being taken out of you because you're hating everything that you are standing for. If you can even say that I'm full of evil, it's like, and plus it's like, take away your book and then what do you got? Like, what do you know about God if you take away that book? If you are full of God and you know everything there is to know about God, then just put your book down for a little bit and have a conversation. Don't quote any verses. Don't live your life by text in a book and see if you can do it. You can't. Because why? Because the book does not do anything for you. It makes you say that you cannot be a person, you cannot be a human being unless you have this book attached to you. But if you were something from God, and you should just read a book once. And then it's like, oh, I've got the picture. I know how to act now. I know how to behave. I know the difference between right and wrong. I don't need to be quoting Bible verses all of the time. If I'm quoting Bible verses all the time, then that's only a sign that I don't know my God at all. That's only a sign that says I need to study and memorize. And that is, yeah, you have to constantly reprogram your brain because you're so evil, you can't get it. And the book is training you to be evil, which makes you go into this vicious circle that you constantly need it because it's giving you nothing. And does that make any sense? And like I say, it's like 99% of all Bibles are true. It's like, if you really, really want to understand God, then put all of the Bibles together. and then take away all of the contradictions, and then you'll see more of what God is like. But if there's only one God, then why are there so many religions? What's the purpose of religion? I mean, if you are really, really belonging to a religion and you are really caring about humanity and you are really caring about trying to make a change and you really, really want to be saved, then why not try it? Why not try just putting the book down and telling me what you know about God? And what has this done for you? And can you live without a book? Like, it truthfully does not make any sense. And to put a suggestion, that's how you create. That is programming. These prophecies are programming. Prophecy is a really cool word. And all a prophecy does, it's not making a prediction that, oh, I could see into the future. That is not what a prophecy does. A prophecy says, I'm going to create this in my world for you to experience. This is what's going to happen. And because I make that suggestion, I create you. I make you. I brainwash you into doing what it is that I want you to do. So in the Bible, where it says Armageddon, that's because the Bible is telling you to create Armageddon. It's not telling you if you don't behave, this is what will happen. You know something? If we didn't even have the suggestion of something evil, we wouldn't even know evil existed. I think it was, there's one island, Fiji, I think, that never knew evil for years and years and years. From the time that I was, been on this planet. It was like before they got, it's probably a good 50 years ago, before they got, a lot of tourists. They apparently it was an island, and I think it's the right island, that didn't know evil. They didn't have words like hate. They didn't even know what the word hate meant. There's no anger. There was not, like it was a paradise. It was, everybody was treating everybody nice, and there was just no negative words used. They were a society that had no comprehension of evil. So, and the only time that they did is when, tourists came into town and kind of taught them a few new words, and then all of a sudden it's the same country as every other country. They started learning negative words and then starting having the same behaviors. And all of this starts with a suggestion. If you don't make one suggestion out there, nobody's going to follow it. So that book, anybody that's making a prediction, and the Bible makes a prophecy, that is evil. That's evil creating it. Evil, it did it the same thing. The same thing is going on with those guide stones. It makes the prophecy. It makes the suggestion. And humanity subconsciously, you really have to learn learn how your brain works. And, if you don't know how your brain works, then somebody can fuck your brain up and you won't even know it's coming. So, to these, anybody that is religion, I can forgive you for not what you're doing. I know every single human on this planet that has a heart that's flowing blood, even the elites, they all have an aspect of God in them, and they all have an aspect of evil in them. So do I, so does everybody. And it's a matter of which one you want to experience. And anybody that wants to come around and criticize me and say I'm evil, and it's like you are looking through the evilness within your own eyes. You might want to think about that. Peace out.